What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Can you believe it's been a week already since we were live with you guys?
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So, welcome to
Real Talk Live with Lane and Trish.
So, we got a lot of stuff going on this week.
Yep.
We've had a very, very busy week since we talked to you guys last week.
Crazy busy week.
Yeah, so we finished out the week Thursday, Friday, and then we had one heck of a crazy busy weekend, but it was awesome. So, Saturday was amazing. We got up super early here in San Antonio.
Yep.
Hit the road to Austin, and we went to the Real Estate Wealth Expo at the Convention Center in Austin. It was incredible. We got to see 15 different speakers throughout the course of the day. Damon John from Shark Tank was there. Pitbull not only gave a really motivational speech, but pretty awesome performance, singing 4 of his songs, and got the crowd pumped up.
Tony Robbins was amazing.
Yeah, Tony Robbins. We had actually never seen Tony Robbins live. And
first time.
It was an experience. I mean, he definitely had us out of our comfort zone a bit. Everyone was
to say the least,
jumping around and hugging each other. And
it was freezing in there.
Freezing.
We froze the whole day. I mean, next time I go to a Tony Robbins event, I've got to take like a blanket and a quilt. And
there was a few people. I don't know where they got them from, but there was people with towels and stuff wrapped around. I've heard that's a Tony Robbins thing, though. He likes the room to be super, super cold during his events. I guess maybe so no one falls asleep. I don't know. There's no way I could have fallen asleep in there. Way too much energy. Mm-hmm. But, so we're here. What did we do? And then we came home that night. So we drove back to San Antonio and then got all set up Sunday for the wedding fair that was at the JW Marriott.
Yeah.
Always one of our favorite events. Mm-hmm. It's twice a year. There's always one in January, one in June, and
we've done that for 6 years now? 7 years?
6 or 7 years. We've done every one of them. Yeah. So we're pros at it, but it's pretty cool because we get to meet lots and lots of potential first-time home buyers for couples that are getting married and going to be buying their first home together. Also, some other people that are selling homes and buying other homes. It's just lots of different great people that we get to meet, and then of course all the vendors. So it's a win-win event for us. I like it a whole lot. So.
Yeah. Whenever somebody's getting married, they're usually making some sort of real estate move. So it's always a good opportunity for us to get in front of people. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was interesting because we knew what our topic was going to be for today's show, which is part 1 of a 3-part series. So you're going to want to tune in for the next 2 weeks also to get all the information. Mm-hmm. But today we're talking about the importance of a pre-approval and the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. And it was actually a topic that came up quite a bit when we were talking with some of the first-time homebuyers at the wedding fair this weekend. So it kind of got us all geared up, and we were ready to chit-chat with you guys about all that great information. So, over the next 3 weeks, today being week 1, part 1, we're going to be talking about how to, how to take a tactical approach to buying a home in an ultra-competitive market.
It's a competitive market out there. You have to get out there and fight for what you want. You have to be very tactical. So.
Yeah, you've got to be prepared, and you've got to be willing to fight, as he calls it, for the house that you want, and be ready. So step 1 of that is going to be your pre-approval and
getting prepared.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there is definitely a difference with pre-qualification and pre-approval.
Difference.
We'll run into buyers a lot of the time, and they're like, "Hey, let's go out and look at houses," and we, start talking to them about whether or not they've gotten pre-approved with a lender, and sometimes they're like, "Yeah, I've got this," and they'll flash around their pre-qualification, which
it's worthless these days.
Unfortunately,
it's worthless.
It's pretty worthless. So, about all a pre-qualification is good for is getting a rough estimate of what your budget should be. Other than
based
that,
on your income, basically.
Other than that, it is it's barely worth the paper it's written on, or I guess the email it's typed in these days. So pretty much any lender can throw out a pre-qualification for a prospective buyer, and it's not weighted very heavily when it comes to terms of you putting an offer in or being competitive in the market. So that's where pre-qualification and pre-approval differ. So your pre-approval is going to be very different because it not only is more valuable because of the weight it holds, but it's going to put you in a much better position. So with your pre-approval, the lender has already talked with the buyer and taken the time to run the buyer's credit, verify documentation, and actually approve a specific amount that a buyer can buy a property for. So obviously there's still several things that happen after pre-approval that are part of the loan process before you are able to actually close on a home and you get a final approval. But it's super, super important to have a pre-approval in any market, but especially when you're in a seller's market or competitive market when it comes to that, because often what we're seeing these days is buyers, looking at homes and finding one they like, and because there's pretty low inventory right now, you will often have several buyers that end up liking the same home and put multiple offers in. So
inventory is low. It's like 56 days, the average days on market right now.
So things are, the market's moving quick, homes are going fast, and, sellers, when they get multiple offers in, they're going to take into consideration all of the different factors, everything from, the offer itself, the price, the terms, but that pre-approval holds a lot of weight. So it's one thing too that's really important with a pre-approval. There's a lot of online lenders these days. I won't name any names, but there are several that prospective buyers can go online, fill in a little bit of information, and there's getting emailed some sort of pre-qualification or even I've seen pre-approval letters based off that kind of stuff. You're going to definitely have a better advantage and a stronger buying position with a pre-approval that's coming from a real live lender. So someone you've talked to, someone that you can pick up the phone and call, someone that can actually give you the information, and talk you through it and talk you through the programs, as opposed
somebody
to
local,
something online. We do
with.
prefer local. I absolutely love the lender, in mortgage offices where you've got your lenders, you've got, your LOs, as we call them. Don't forget, we've got tons of acronyms in this industry. So LO
Too many.
is going to be loan officers. So you've got your loan officers, you've got your processors, you've got your underwriters, and we're talking everyone's just right down the hall from each other. So communication is usually tremendously better when you are dealing with a lender that can provide that kind of service, as opposed to some of your bigger national ones where your processors or your underwriters are in a completely different state. The loan officer often doesn't even have direct communication with them. Everything's done email. Like, you can't even pick up the phone and call and get the information you need. So that's one thing I always recommend, and it's important, so.
Cash is king, but a really solid pre-approval from a reputable lender can be almost as good as cash these days when it comes to presenting an offer.
It can be. So having a good lender, go through everything with you and get you prepared for that part of the process, highly recommend it. So, and obviously we've got a handful of really, really awesome lenders that we trust, that have worked with our buyers in the past and have proven themselves with really good results and really great customer service. So we are here to help you get connected to one if that's the part of the process that you are in. But it's one of those things. If you're truly serious about buying, you're going to want that pre-approval in hand. And there's obviously more steps to getting a pre-approval than a pre-qualification. And you've got to be willing to go through that stuff up front, and give some personal information and that kind of stuff, so that the lender can accurately put everything together. But it's worth it, and it puts you in like I said, a much better position. So typically, there's typically 5 things that a lender is going to need from you to put together a pre-approval. And first thing on that is going to be your proof of income. And so they're going to ask you typically for 2 years, your past 2 W-2s, and they're going to most likely want some current pay stubs as well. So that's your proof of income. Second is going to be proof of assets. And when we say assets, really what they want to confirm is they want to verify that you've got funds available for, first of all, your down payment, and then second of all, for your closing costs. Now, often with part of a contract and negotiation, we will see buyers ask for, and sometimes sellers agree to pay all or a portion of closing costs. In this kind of market where it's very competitive, we see it less and less. But that's not to say that there's not ways to get closing costs even possibly rolled in or paid by the seller. It just depends on the situation. But with the different loan programs and stuff, the lender is going to want to verify that you've got available funds to pay whatever down payment and closing costs you're going to be required. So those are your first 2 things. Your third thing is obviously credit. So we all know you've got to have decent credit to be approved for a loan. But there's different programs out there, that are varying credit ratings required, and so they're
different tiers.
Different tiers. So obviously, the better credit, the better interest rate you're typically going to have. But you're going to have to provide the lender with your social security number and, of course, authorization via signature to run your credit. So, and there's a big misconception sometimes with going through the process of that credit verification. I've heard a lot of potential buyers worry about having their credit run and it actually hurting their credit.
Right.
You are definitely allowed to shop around for a mortgage when you're looking for one, and it's expected that you do so. I mean, it's a big purchase, so you don't want to go into it and just run with one lender and say, oh my God, this is great, when you could be getting a better rate somewhere, or another lender may have a different program that they specialize in that may be better suited for you and your situation. But you can actually have your credit run multiple times as long as it's for the same kind of loan. So if it's for a mortgage, they can run several times. You've got about a 90-day window for where they can run that without it affecting your credit. So definitely don't be worried about shopping around to find the best program, the best rate, and even the best fit when it comes to the company and the loan officer that you'd be working with.
Yeah, there's so many programs out there right now. So many down payment assistance programs, so many loan programs, zero down,
there's everything.
Low down.
So, another thing that we talked about with quite a few of the potential first-time home buyers at the wedding fair this weekend was the ability to get into a home with zero down. And a lot of people don't realize that that's an option. And they think, okay, well, we're going to have to save up all this money. And well, yes, some of the loan programs you'll have required, down payments. You're usually minimum, so your FHA, you're 3.5%. You can do conventional. There's some 3, but most are going to be at least 5% down. 20% down will save you on things like mortgage insurance. We can get into programs and stuff on another show, but there are also programs including like your USDA, which is a zero down program. There's down payment assistance programs. There's like 3-4 pretty good down payment assistance programs out there that will basically pay all your down payment.
And sometimes with those programs, we have people at closing actually getting money back instead of bringing money to closing.
So if you get closing costs rolled in, incredible. Or the seller paying those, and then you've got some sort of zero down or down payment assistance, you can get into a house for less than you can get into your next apartment, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So, I mean, there's no reason to rent anymore. I mean, I was reading an article the other day. I think it was a Dallas-based developer, Trinsic Properties, is bringing a new 375-unit apartment complex to Stone Oak. So no shortage of renters out there, and I think that if most of them would probably want to own a house if they knew that they could get in for zero down and payments similar to what they're going to pay in rent. So it's just really no reason to
I think with the recent housing stats show that the average residential rental right now in San Antonio, the average is just under $1,500
it's like
a month.
$1,493.
Yeah, so you can absolutely get into a home with that equivalent of a payment or less, or only slightly more, depending on what property you're looking at, and start saving equity.
Start accumulating equity.
Yeah, start yourself on a path to saving as opposed to throwing away money. That's a whole other show we need to do too. Renting versus buying. We are in a market right now. Yeah, so it is an incredible time to buy. Interest rates are super low. Like we said, there's great programs out there, and it's just definitely something to look at if you're renting or tossing up the idea at all, or if you just even want to start that, the thought of that. If it's going to be something that you may look at in the next couple of years, I would start now.
And we're super lucky in San Antonio. I mean, it's still the cost of living and the cost of housing is so much lower than it is in other major metropolitan areas. So it's like it's like buy 2 houses.
Yeah, that's why we see so many people moving here from other cities and stuff. Our job market's great, but our cost of living is way lower than so many areas of the nation. So plus, like we always say, there's great food here and margaritas, and I don't know, with as hot as it's been. So we're on our hardcore diet we're a solid just over 30 days now. So we haven't had anything to drink as far as alcoholic libations in the last month. And I am telling you what, with it being 100 degrees outside and sunny and all that, there is not much more I want to do than go sit on a nice patio and drink a frozen margarita.
I don't know. I've learned to just drink coffee all day.
But yes,
I don't know.
We stick to our coffee. So cheers. Cheers to all you.
Cheers.
If any of you guys are out there right now having a drink, have one for us. We'll stick to our coffee for now. But let's get back to this. So we went through proof of income, proof of assets, good credit. Your next one is going to be employment verification. And so while with number one, we did talk about how they're going to ask for your pay stubs, that's just part of what they'll need for an actual employment verification. So they often will want to actually reach out to your employer, make sure that you're still working there, and make sure that you're on salary and that that everything jives with what you've told them and what you've shown them. So be prepared for that. And again, it's one of those things, if you're serious about this, shouldn't be an issue. And then the last one, documentation. So that's everything from your driver's license to, like we said, providing your social security number. There may be, depending on what your situation is, additional stuff that the lender needs. So if you are self-employed or if you get any income from something else that you want considered, child support, alimony, whatever it is that you've got coming in, they'll want documentation of that stuff too. So that's going to cover your 5 things that the lenders will typically need. Again, every situation is different, so we reserve the right to be wrong when it comes to only 5, but just keep in mind the position it's going to put you in. So again,
Absolutely.
Like we said, super, super competitive market. You're going to hear it called as a seller's market. And essentially, a balanced market is going to be somewhere between 6 and 6.5 months of inventory.
Yep.
And that means that's how many homes are on the market, and that's how long it would take for them to all sell with the current amount of buyers that are looking.
Just market equilibrium.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly where we are right now. We've been in the low 3.2 months of inventory here in San Antonio. So what that basically means is there's a lot more buyers than there are homes on the market, which means that when you're getting out there and you're looking, you're going to be competing against those other buyers when you find the house that you want. Very likely. Yeah. So having that pre-approval in hand, completely ready to go, is just one step that you're going to need to be poised to make the best offer and be the most competitive. And to be very honest, you're most likely going to also have to have that pre-approval in hand before most of your qualified real estate agents are going to want to take the time to go out and show you properties. So be prepared for that. And it's not that they're trying to pick on you or that they don't want to, help you, but it's a vital, important part of the process. So when your real estate agent, these two, wants to, ask you for your pre-approval, just understand that it is part of the process, and it's all part of making the transaction work in your favor,
and to actually be able to get it done.
Yeah. So when you get out there and you see a house that you want, obviously first you want to know the budget that you're shopping in, and that you don't want to be looking at homes that you're simply not going to be able to get due to loan qualifications. But then when you do find that house, you want to be ready to jump on it and put an offer in as quickly as possible, and you want it to be as strong as possible. So if you're coming in there with a very solid pre-approval from a credible, trustworthy lender, your offer is most likely going to stand out above other offers that come in if you end up in a multiple offer situation. Yeah. So, and another thing I've seen too, when putting offers in and ending up in a multiple offer situation is going back to that local lender thing and having a lender that's available. Not just business hours, but readily available, weekends, sometimes evenings. A lot of times the listing agent, when they get multiple offers in, they're going to want to be able to give their seller, their client, the warm and fuzzy on, hey, this offer is, these buyers are pre-approved, they're qualified, and this lender is trustworthy. So a lot of times they're going to want to call the lender or be able to contact the lender and see what the actual situation is. And that's another thing that, with your approval, the lender's not going to give any of your confidential information, but they can at least assure them that they've already verified the income and the documents and all that kind of stuff, and give a much more secure approval from that. So it is what it is. It's part of the process. It needs to be one of the very first parts of the process for you. So,
and we understand some people have, a few little credit issues here and there. That's why we work with a wide variety of different lenders that kind of work with different credit scenarios.
Yeah. So when it comes to credit, this is an interesting one because we hear of like credit repair programs and stuff like that, and there are some really, really good ones out there. And a lot of people will think that they don't need any credit repair, and they may not actually need it to get approved. But even a small amount of adjustments on what you've got on your credit and stuff can change your buying power and your score and ultimately your interest rate quite a bit. So even if you're already qualified to buy a home, making a few minor adjustments can sometimes make a huge difference in the amount you can purchase and what your interest rate is. And so obviously the lower the rate, the more home you can buy at the same price every month.
And over time, it'll save you a ton of money.
Yeah, so we work with some really great, credit repair companies, and we are offering for anyone that wants to have their credit looked at, free consultation. So basically, you just let us know, we'll get you in touch with them, completely free consultation to have somebody who's very qualified, who does this, nothing but this for a living. Take a look at your credit. See if there's any things that can be tweaked and adjusted, or see if you need to actually go through an actual credit repair program, which also, in the event that you do need to go through a credit repair program, we are currently offering a pretty awesome promotion for that too.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how long we're going to run it. We're going to run it for at least through the end of July. So we'll commit to that. Anyone that contacts us and goes through one of those consultations and does a credit repair program, we will reimburse 100% of the program at closing. Yeah, so you're going to be anywhere from, say, $400 to I've seen as high as about $800 or $900, depending on how many people you've got making the purchase. So we will reimburse that 100% at closing, but you got to let us know that you saw this live show and that's what you're inquiring about. And I know he was mentioning earlier the rentals and that kind of situation. Another thing that a lot of people will have as one of their obstacles is the fact that they're in a lease. And even though they want to buy now and they're approved to buy now, or they could be approved to buy now, they're stuck with existing lease that they're in.
We've got a great lease buyout program.
Yeah, that's where our lease buyout program comes into play. So it's different on every different situation, so we'd want to go over that with you. But a lot of times we're able to get you out of your lease in the amount of time that you need to get into the property when you buy, so depending on how long it takes to get the loan. And if there's fees associated with that, each apartment complex is going to be a little bit different, but we've got a program in place where we can help cover some or all of those fees for you to make a nice seamless transition. So yeah, that's what we're here for. So we're here to help. We would love to connect you with a great lender. We would love to get you that free consultation on your credit if that's something you're interested in. And of course, we'd love to help you find your new home. So we are here always. You can reach out. You can always send us a message on Facebook or you can call or text 210-771-5263. That's actually my direct line, so you will reach me directly. And we're here to answer questions you have, and we are here to help in any way that we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we hope you are having a fantastic week. We look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday for part 2. And until next time,
keep it real
and keep moving.